Meeks.
Thank you, and I want to thank my friend and colleague, great attorney, great legislator, for leading this effort this evening, for not only here on the floor of the House of Representatives, but what you do every day. And in fact, it's an example of what we could follow is how you lead in your district, especially in Brooklyn, rallying around, as I will talk about later, when you saw a prosecutor not do his job. You were one that led in Brooklyn to say the people will get a people's prosecutor. And folks went to the polls when someone said it couldn't be done, where you led and helped make it happen, where an incumbent forgot his way and was not representing the people. You helped people get together to go to the polls and have a new prosecutor in Brooklyn to move forward, and we thank you for that leadership. Today we talk about black in America, what Ferguson says about where we are and where we need to go. Now, as Congressman Jeffries have said, I'm a former prosecutor, so I know about the grand jury system. And I know the failure of the grand jury process as directed, or as some would argue, manipulated by County Prosecutor Robert McCullough to indict police officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown, Jr., an unarmed Ferguson, Missouri teenager, undermines public confidence in the very notion of equal administration of justice. Now, when you go before a grand jury, all you have to show is that there is probable cause, the lowest standard there is that a crime was committed. And when you see the process that this prosecutor went through, he tried to try a case, or he came in with a preconceived thought that he did not want an indictment here. For I don't know of any prosecutors that go into the grand jury and don't at least, after it's all done, ask for an indictment. Mr. McCullough never asked for an indictment in this case. So the tragic circumstances in Ferguson and other unfortunate instances around the country have sparked a movement for justice, equality, and change that I believe is critical to the communities affected by miscarriages of justice. But this movement is not just for those communities. Indeed, the United States of America needs this movement. This is, as others have said, an American problem. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Disparities of any kind are troubling for our entire nation. And so though we've elected President Barack Obama here in the United States, I heard some say that we were in a post-racial America. No, we are not. For racism is still alive and well in the United States of America. We've got work to do. So where do we go? This movement, with its courageous contingent of young activists, is quickly learning, adapting, applying, and innovating on the most effective methods and models of the civil rights movements of previous generations. As this movement continues to grow and takes every opportunity to focus its demands, expand its outreach, develop its activists in the discipline of peaceful direct action, and deepen its understanding of how to apply mass pressure on policymakers, it will cascade not simply to interrupt businesses as usual, but to generate electoral participation on levels unseen in generations. This movement has the potential to transform the tragedy in Ferguson into a historic turning point in the centuries-long struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. The Congressional Black Caucus is part of this moment and a part of this movement. Tens of thousands of federal, state, and local elected officials, civic leaders, civil rights organizations, activists, clergies, lawyers, educators, artists, athletes, business owners, and hundreds of thousands, millions of ordinary working people of all ages from all over America are part of this movement. So now is the time for America to come together to reform police practices, redress patterns of racial disparities in the justice system, and to hold police accountable for the use of excessive force, especially deadly force. Now is the time to match nonviolent direct action with meaningful legislative and administrative action. Now is the time for the federal government to act, for Congress to act, for courts to act, for state legislatures to act, for country and county and city governments to act. Now is the time, my friends, to register to vote, because soon, very soon, it will be time to act at the ballot boxes. Only then will these voices be truly heard in every corner of every county and throughout this country. And then the world will know that unwarranted violence and abuse of power has no home in America. Injustice has no seat in our democratic institutions. And only then will we honor the sacrifice of those who have paid the ultimate price and begin to heal a nation of many who aspire to become one. Yes, indeed, we've come a long way. But yes, indeed, we have a long, long, long way to go. Thank you for the time.
Thank my good friend.